Born to cloud. All right. Hey, team. Thanks for jumping on. Many of you guys know Erika. If you've been with us for a year or two, you definitely know who Erika is. We've got some newbies on our team too, so you'll be introduced to one of the greats. So quick intro on Erika. She's pretty special. I would say she's one of my favorite business besties. We've been through Zaya together for, I think you just celebrated your 3-year anniversary. So 3, yep. And we met before the world shut down, March of 2020, like literally. Yeah, that's when we were like baby reps. So that was pretty cool to meet you and then connect with you. And just from meeting 2020, like that's when we connected. That's when I remember you reached out and we had the Fab 7 and we did accountability groups together and we like hit ranks together and going on trips together. So we've been through a lot. So Miss Erika is a Zaya executive, and so she knows exactly what she's doing. She supports her team. She's like one of the best as far as supporting her team and helping her team rank. I'm not sure how many directors on your level ones have hit. Has it been like 11 at some point or another, something like that? So she knows how to support her team. She knows how to help duplicate it. So I wanted her to jump on this call with us because with this Zaya promo that came out, the trip promo for 2022, a lot of our team is really good at like hitting these sales goals. So like a lot of our team should be able to hit this promo because we're really good at the sales part of it. And I just wanted Erika to jump on with us and kind of help plan with us and strategize with us because it does take work to get there. You need to make a plan and then you have to implement it. So yeah, that's why I want Erika to jump on, one of the best I know in the biz. So take it away, girlfriend.
All right. Well, I'm going to unmute. Well, thank you so much for having me. This is like, no lie, I know this is going to be recorded, but one of my favorite groups, if not number one, like if we have to do a ranking system, because that's how we roll, right? So whenever I'm at an in-person event, Minnesota and Team Sherry and Kayla, that group rolls hard. So I'm always looking for them, usually probably around the evening time, maybe sometimes during the day. So if you haven't been to an in-person event with that team, definitely get your asses there because it is a freaking great time. And that's like my jam, right? Like I don't go looking for people that aren't my jam. So I do truly believe in that. And that's why I'm really excited that Sherry asked me. I know we had been playing around with some dates, but whether you guys are really close right here on the screen or not, like I love this group. So it's been a while since I've done like a live training. I've done a lot of Facebook lives, did some recorded stuff. But I think that what's always important, number one, is if your camera's on. I love that shit. I do understand that sometimes you cannot do that. But in this world where we have to be virtual, sometimes it's best because then when you go to an in-person event, you're like, oh my God, that's you. Like, is this real life? Can I touch you? So if you had that experience, we know that happens. But what I really love about talking about like the trip and like ranking and all of that things is they're like, if you've read Atomic Habits or any of these like goal setting, personal development things, it's like they're like attainable goals, right? Like, and it's all about the roadmap to get there. And I was thinking about this today, like right before I obviously like wrote out the training, but I was thinking about this because like real life, like what works for me might not work for you. So I want you guys to kind of think about the bits and pieces of that, because whenever an incentive rolls out, I've been in the game 3 years and I've won a lot of incentives, whether big, small, whatever. And I'm at that leadership level, but I still have things that I want to do in my business. And even though I know exactly how to win an incentive or I know what to do, that changes for me. And so I'm going to give you little things and you can plug and chug as you go along. But whether you're like Kayla on my level or, you know, Ricky, wherever you're at in your business, or whether you're brand new, I need you to understand that you're going to have to start somewhere. No matter how long you've been here, you're going to have to say, okay, what's the foundation and how do I build up? For me, it's about relationship building. So I feel like this also would be a lot of your guys's jam too, because I've kicked it with you. You know what I mean? Everywhere from Ricky to Mickey to fucking Kayla, you know, like I've kicked it with you and I understand. And I've even seen enough trainings to know that relationship with yourself and you, your relationship with your team and others, your customers, are the foundation of how you're going to get to rank and how you're going to get to this incentive. So what I love about incentives is sometimes it's about the work you do for yourself. You know what I mean? Like if you're not partying and you're not doing the things, like especially like sales right now, you don't really get anywhere, you know? So I think it's about acknowledging, number one, like, what do I need to do to get there? And number two, like, how can I, because I have belief in myself. I know that I can win anything by myself, wholeheartedly by myself. I will do all the shit for my kids. Like, you know, if you're a mom, you know how that is. So, but when it takes your team and stuff, and then getting your team to win trips, it's a little bit more difficult because you can't do the work for them. As a soccer coach in my former life, that was my flaw. I'm like, you know what? You don't get to do this. I'm going to do it. I'm going to write the session. I'm going to train it every single day. I'm going to reach burnout. I'm going to go crazy. I'm going to stress out because I'm going to do it by myself because I know that it's on me. Okay. And so you have to have a good balance of that. So what I want you to do first is, I always like a warm up. I always like a mindset. And that is like, I'm a huge, like, I got to write it down. I'll write it everywhere. I got like 50 planners. I got 50 pads from Target Spot. Like, I'll write it all over the place. I don't even know why. I just do it. I'm like writing. Okay. I don't know if you like personal development, but I picked up the Untamed. Have you guys read that by Glennon Doyle? I'm a huge soccer person. Ambi Wambach, she's my jam. She's done a lot of dumb shit, but she's done a lot of great shit. And she married Glennon Doyle. Okay. Glennon Doyle wrote Untamed. I've read most of it to know that it's good shit. Okay. So I picked this up. I like writing things and lists and trainings, but I don't like journaling. Like, it hurts my hand. I don't even know what the hell's going on. Like, but I also like to go back and read stuff. So I forced myself to buy this. And why I'm telling you guys this is because the first couple prompts are like, what does it take to be a good daughter? Like, what trained you to believe you're a good daughter or child? What trained you to be a good mom? What trained you to be a good wife partner? What trained you to be a good leader? And as soon as I saw that, I'm like, shit, I'm going to skip to that one. I'm going to write that one down, you know, like, what takes you to be a good leader, right? And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to go back to the beginning because it all really flows together. You know what I mean? Like, my mindset is like, okay, I'm going to win this trip. I'm going to rank. Whatever and whoever I am in life also translates to my business. It translates to the behaviors. Like, I'm impulsive. So I'm impulsively booking parties. Like, I am like intense and I want things for just no reason at all. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm competitive. So I think that this journal prompt is really important to me because I saw that and I was like, well, good. First of all, I want to be great, but I have moments of good and I have good moments of like, it's all right. It's you know what I mean? AIGTHT, right? There is no L in there. It's I. So like descriptively, I could replace that with a lot of things, right? So I want you, if you're a writer and you like post-it notes, post it all over your mirror. You want to drive your husband crazy or your spouse crazy, write it with a Sharpie on the mirror. Like, you need to understand and see often in a lot of places why you want this trip, why you want to be in this business, and shit, why you want to do anything, really. You know what I mean? Because you're not going to show up and do the work if you don't want to show up and be a mom or be a good partner or whatever. And there's a prompt in here that says, why do you want to be a good friend? And I remember like a couple years ago, I was like writing down all of my like things I wanted to do for the new year. It was literally like 3 years ago. And one of those is I wanted to change the ideas I have around fitness. I wanted to make it consistent. I wanted to be a better friend. I wanted to be better with my money. And what I find funny about that is like, if you guys know me, you probably wouldn't even like Brittany or Kayla, like Sherry, you didn't have to talk to me for months, right? You might see me in May and we'd be like, oh yeah, girl, let's go to the pool. Like, let's kick it. Like, I am like literally that friend. But I also can't be that kind of person in my business. Does that make sense? Like, I can't be that kind of leader. I can't. And a lot of us fall victim to that. We fall victim to deprioritizing. Like Zaya is important when we want it to be important. Zaya is important to me all day long, all day long. And I feel bad whenever I don't put in the work. I feel bad when I don't show up on calls. I feel bad when I don't show up for my team. I feel bad when I don't host trainings for my team, because I know that it's at the forefront of my heart. And so why I think these journal entries are so funny is because no one really taught, I'm sorry, mom, sorry, dad. No one really taught me like how to be a good kid, or, you know what I mean? It was just kind of like, that's just kind of, you just at school, you were just good, right? Well, like, who's teaching you to be a good Zaya rep? Like, who's teaching you to be a good leader? Like, we have some really good role models. Like, do we talk about it? Do we say, all right, Brittany, like, what do you need to do today? Be a good Zaya rep? No, we don't talk about it. We like model those behaviors. So you need to understand, first and foremost, is like, I have to have a why. Like, I'm going to the Dominican Republic with my husband on this day, and we're going to fly out by ourselves, and we're going to stay till this day, and I'm going to fly for free. Like, those things have to be your wants and needs, because if you say them, then you can build actionable items to get there. Okay. The great thing about this is it's 3 months long, or whatever it is, there's a time limit on it, right? So we feel the intensity, we feel the momentum, we feel competition flowing. Sometimes with rank and with those things, like, we don't really have that pressure. We don't really have that timeline. The only person set to do that, to set that, is yourself. So after you say, like, you can write down on your paper, like, why do I want to be a good leader? Why do I want to be a good Zaya rep? Why do I want to win this trip? And, we talk about that a lot, as creating your why. And sometimes I talk to my new reps, and maybe it's just not the time. Maybe it's not exactly the time to create a why, because they just wanted to join because I told them it was a good deal. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of like have to feel, I know it sounds really crazy, but I kind of have to feel it. I kind of be like, okay, now it's time for you to go out there and create your why, and talk about it and write about it and love it. And just know that, like, all of these things are ever changing, but you have to create tangible whys behind it. Like, Brittany can be like, I want to be a Zaya exec to go on this trip with y'all because I just kick it with y'all. Well, that's great and all, but there's also other things that might matter to her. Like, I want to work less, or I want more clothes, or I want to have more directors under me to change their lives, or, her wants and needs might be different. Everybody wants to be in the Dominican Republic. Like, no lie, sometimes it's scary to me. I know Sherry might relate, but I had a lot of anxiety when I went to Mexico, because I was like, towards the end when I was leaving, I'm like, I feel like I get stuck here for 10 days. I'm gonna be pissed. I'm at the Ritz-Carlton, not a big deal, right? But so, sometimes other people are like, I want that for a cash payout, or I want that to say, like, yo, girl, I got that trip, like, so please, just whatever it is, like incentives, little incentives, Scottsdale, whatever, you have to create like your why and write it down and stick to it. If it changes, write it down and stick to it in your mind. Okay. And then find an accountability partner. 100% of how I feel successful, and I see that recognition sometimes, is because of the people on this call. You know what I mean? Like, it's how you show up for each other on social media. It's like, I see Brittany shit, I'm like writing on her. I see Sherry stuff, I'm responding to her. Yet go Peach or whatever. Like, you have to be able to cheer on one another and engage. Like, I didn't know all of these people. I just started writing them, like, and if you're a leader, and if you're a junior rep, if you're a new rep and you're getting a person, you're a leader. You know what I mean? Don't wait till you're a director to be like, oh, now I got to start leading, because I did that. I was a senior director and I was like, oh shit, now what do I do? All these people are like doing things and I need to lead them. But that's only because I felt that pressure from my previous life or careers. Okay. So find an accountability partner. I think business buddies are seriously the number one thing that has kept me here. I talk to Charmaine every freaking day. I like know what her kids eat for breakfast. Like, I know a lot of things about her life. I talk to Katie probably once a week. Like, Kayla and I send each other freaking reels a lot, like, you just have to engage in people, because that to me helps me feel connected. It helps me feel like people are like, hey, not just like, oh, where are you at? Where's your group volume at? No one gives a crap about my group volume. All they care about is that I'm here, I'm still here, I'm motivating them, and we can vent and stuff for the business. And over the next 3 months, there's going to be crappy days. There's going to be a lot of no's. There's going to be a lot of shitty parties. There's going to be a lot of like, how do I get this shit to 2000? I've never done that in my life. So you have to have those people who can relate, because otherwise your husband or whoever you're married to will probably want to jump out the window. They'll be like, okay, what just happened to my wife or my girlfriend? Okay. So accountability partners are really great. If you want to really get in there, jump into a leadership group. If you've never ran a leadership group, run one. Find 4 or 5 people that really want to take the workload on with you and run one together. I don't care if no one shows up. Like you can record a training or do live videos or get that experience, because when you act like a leader and you show up as a leader, you're a freaking leader. Okay. So that's also about creating the environment. Okay. There's short-term goals here, right? There's short-term actionable items and there's long-term actionable items. And you'll be like, yeah, that leadership group sucked. I really need a lot of work with that, so you'll learn as you go. And that's really important. Okay. So I love acronyms as long as I'm not having to pass a test. Okay. So I have loved this since I've learned it, and I really do it in my whole life. Okay. It's called STAFF, right? Has anybody heard of that? Oh, sure he has. Right? It's show, train, accountability, follow-up, feedback. I love that. I use that in my kids, even though I'm showing them, I'm like, do you not understand what the words are coming out of my mouth? Okay. And it'll be the same with your people in your team. Sometimes you show them and you're like, here's how you do this. I'm going to show a freaking million people how to open a link. And then they're like, oh, I don't know how to open a link. Okay. So some things are going to be more time consuming than others. Okay. The idea here is that you make it easy. You make it easy for you, make it easy for them. Show, train, accountable, follow up, and feedback. I do that all the time. That is going to be huge for yourself, because number one is you're going to have to hold yourself accountable. Okay. I tell my people all the time, you either do the freaking work or you don't. It's a yes or a no question. Okay. So recap. In the beginning, it's all about mindset. It's all about why you want it, putting it out there, putting it in the universe. And I'll give you an example of this. One of my best leaders, she is amazing, right? She's one of my new leaders. I love her. Really never met her in person, yada, yada. The last couple conversations has been like, oh my God, I can't get any parties. I'm having a really trouble, because she came out of the gate, right? Thousands of dollars. And I'm just trying to be like, okay, I'm not going to sugarcoat this shit, but I'm just going to tell you, it's going to get harder. All these people are now your reps. They're not buying from your reps. It's going to be ebbs and flows of shit, right? Finally, I said, let's talk about this. Maybe let's not put that shit in the universe. Maybe let's say, I'm going to find some more parties. I'm going to find some more people, put it out there in the universe, whether it's crap or not, I don't know. But sometimes I do that when I'm feeling sick, that I'm like, I am not getting sick. This is not happening. This is not real life. I'm just putting it out into the universe. Does that make sense? So sometimes when you're doing all that mindset stuff, you have to just keep telling yourself, this is what I'm doing. And I don't even care who's going to get in my way or what I'm going to do. I'm just going to do it. And I'm going to keep doing it. And then the most important part is sometimes is numbers. And I find this to be interesting sometimes, because a lot of people are one of the girls that I'm helping get to executive is okay, what's my trend again? And I'm like, okay, I know you teach special ed, right? We taught together. I know that sometimes this stuff doesn't really happen, but it's just dividing the numbers. Okay. Sometimes it's not as easy for other people. So if you are a leader and you don't look at your numbers often, okay, don't get carried away with it, but you have to track it. Okay. Especially with points. One of my girls made a tracker, which I love. People love trackers. And it's literally an Excel. You put junior rep, you get the points, and it adds it up, yada, yada, yada. What I find interesting about that is I can do simple math, right? I know if I close a party, I get this many points. I know if I rank, I get this many points. Why do I need this fancy Excel spreadsheet to tell me how many points I have? But sometimes people like that. It holds them accountable. It's a place that they can go to add up the numbers. You know what I mean? It's okay. And I broke it down. I'm okay, we had a call. Everything, all the work I'm doing right now is trying to maximize what I have for December. All the links that I have in my back office, I'm maximizing them. I'm using all the days in December to get whatever it is to the benchmark. So my 600 to 1,000, my 1,000 to 2,000, my, and I'm just pushing. Then December 31st or whatever, I close them and then I can get my points. And then I roadmap my points out, if that makes sense. That's what's working for me. And that's my plan. That's what I'm going to stick to. You guys, obviously, if you like to work a different way, you can. You might have already closed parties. You might be like, I'm getting them points. I'm getting them right freaking now. Okay. So for me, the 21st closing a party gets me no more points than if I close it on the 31st, unless something happens to the back office, which is quite possible. But it could potentially be more points. Do you know what I mean? So that's kind of what I did. And then I walked through my leaders or whoever's running through the trip. I walked them through the events. I'm like, okay, you have 3 VIP links. Put all those girls in a VIP event, like a mega event, and tell them, let's try to get to 1,000. First person to 1,000 by the 31st gets a free pair of leggings. Like, how can you make those VIP links thrive really, really quickly? Okay. So breaking that in numbers is really important. For me, I look at my back office and I'm like, crap, 600. How am I going to get to that to 1,000? Well, for me, I know that I have to sell so many leggings, or I have to do so many reach outs, or I have to do so many, blah, blah, blah. For you, it might be like, oh yeah, I'm going to call 4 of my best customers, so really break it down by like people or items, how many leggings, be like, all right, Kayla's like, all right, I'm going to sell 5 joggers in 5 days, like really break it down by that, because otherwise you're like, yep, $400 by 31st. That's what I got to do. Okay. Well, I have no plan to get there. Okay. And then parties. I always book like 3 parties a week, because you guys know sometimes they suck. So midweek, I probably reevaluate. I'm like, okay, this party is going nowhere. No one's talking to me. So I reevaluate. You guys know all that stuff. So find someone who's really good at numbers, or be really good at numbers for the time being, and like really break it down very detailedly, if that's a word, and then reevaluate in the first. Okay. And I kind of do that anyways. I always am looking at my director's numbers. I'm always looking at like Stephanie's numbers, because she's trying to hit executive. And then inside of that, I'm like, okay, Brittany, you want to hit exec? Okay. I need to know how many parties you closed last month and how many parties you have right now. And how, so I'm like always looking at data. Okay. And if you want more details on that, either Sherry or myself, I can kind of walk you through. The reports in the back office are fantastic. I've really started to use in the downline reporting, I've started to use party statistics. Have you see that in the downline reporting? So like if Grace calls me and says, yeah, well, last year I did 4 parties in December, I can look at what she did last year and say, Grace, you closed 4 parties. Your average sales for those 4 parties were $600. Like, we're going to have to change it up this year so we can boost that up to 1,000, if that makes sense. So I look year over year. If you don't have year over year, that's okay. You can just look at maybe your 3-month rolling. That would be a good idea. Okay. Lastly, I'm like in between on this. So incentivizing. Get muted. I incentivize myself. I incentivize my team. I stopped incentivizing for a little while, because when I first joined, it was like, incentivize, right? It's like, everybody's winning Tory Burch, everybody's winning whatever, like, and I just thought, man, I'm just spending all this money. And one of my senior directors, I bought customized Nikes, I bought Nobles, I bought a ring light, like you name it. I probably bought her kid something. I don't even know. But then she quit. I lost $20,000 in group volume. She was my 4th director. She, I think right after March, I think she was one of the ones that helped me get to executive. And so for me, that was like a piece of my business that was detrimental to me, because if you know me and you're friends with me, then you know that like losing people in the business is very sad for me. I can't emotionally disconnect from it. Like if one of you guys called me and said, I'm leaving the business today, like one of our leaders left the business, and I about damn cried. So it was a part of me that had never happened before. And for a lot of people, maybe, and Kayla and Sherry and I sprang, like a lot of directors just leave, you know what I mean? They just leave. And I can't understand that. So I try to relate. It's like when people get sick, I'm like, I have to like try to like put myself in their shoes and understand, but I was sad, right? So I stopped incentivizing. I'm like, I'm gonna buy all these people, all these things, and they're just gonna leave me. You know, I'm like, why am I gonna waste my money on that? And so then I'm like, man, now I'm hindering my leaders now because like they're working so hard and they deserve it. And like, so I felt stuck. I'm like, I'm not gonna buy them something cheap. Like that's dumb, you know, like who does that? So I wanted to be realistic. I wanted to be fair. I wanted to be like, you know, a lot of people were like, oh, I don't care about those expensive shoes, or I would never even buy those for myself anyways. Like, so I kind of had to come back to real life, like what's going to work for me. And so I always incentivize people through either one, like this, like, hey, Brittany, you're doing a freaking amazing job. Like, I love everything that you're doing. Can you do a team training? Like, let's go get lunch, like whatever. Like, God, you're so freaking awesome. Like, whatever. Because that's real life. That's how I feel. And I would probably even do that to a lot of you guys. I do that a lot of the times because it's truly how I feel. But I do like Wednesday giveaways or something. If I see something at the store, I'm like, oh, that's cute. I'll just grab it to have give outs, little gift cards. I don't just give stuff to give stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just don't want to give out like customized Nikes to everybody who freaking hits 1,000. Like, I want people to feel valued. I want people to feel seen. And I like getting gifts. Like, I liked getting a freaking ornament. You know what I mean? And so I think most people are like that. Like, just getting stuff in the mail is annoying to us because we have to write and stamp that shit, but it's fun, you know? So, I think that creating that experience, you as a leader and having a team, you have to see what that looks like. Charmaine says all the time, like, I started giving out the top 10 gifts every month and now I'm stuck with it. I'm like, girl, you can scale it back. You can do whatever you want, you know, like, and I give my top 3 leaders, and for the, you know, for this, Baylor saw a mouse. For this trip, like I had one girl earn the Mexico trip. I want more than that to win it. Like, that's my goal, is that I want to help people win the trip, whether I win it or not, even though that's my goal. So I think it's about finding an idea that's like, okay, I want to win this trip, or I want to hit this, you know, rank or goal, or whatever you want to do with the business. Really, it's about, okay, what do I want to do? Do I want to go on a extravagant date night? Or do I want to go set up a girls' night with my team? You know what I mean? Like, really put some thought into that and rally your people behind that, because everybody wants to kick it. Everybody wants to like go to Target with a $10 gift card, or Starbucks, or whatever their love language is, and really say, like, keep the excitement level high, whatever it is. Like, if your excitement level or your love language is not things and gifts, that's okay. Because sometimes I would rather go to the Four Seasons and get a massage with Sherry and Kayla and all my friends and drink rosé all night than get customized Nikes. That's the truth behind it. You know, like, I would love to meet some of you guys in person. And I think there's no better way to like give yourself those things than to write it down and have a plan and to really buy into it. So lastly, and then I'll pass it back to Sherry, is, you know, be coached, ask to be coached. You know what I mean? Like, not just have an accountability partner, but say, hey, Kayla, or hey, Sherry, or hey, Brittany, like, you guys have won these trips before. Can you coach me through this? Like, I reached out to Katie and I'm like, you know, please coach me up, coach. Or dive into some personal development that really means something to you. Don't just do it to do it. And then when you find something you love, share it with somebody that could use it. And lastly, your VIP groups, your customers, branding, all the things that you do and you make these cute little freaking graphics for, have to be intentional. You have to be vulnerable if that's you. If it's not you, that's okay too. There's a warm market you can be vulnerable around. It might be your aunt. Like, I'll be telling my aunt, like, listen, you haven't had a party for me in 3 years. I need you to have a party, and it better be good. You hear me? Okay. And then love your VIP group. Like, I haven't done this in a while, but talk about the trip, get some excitement. Like, I'm so excited to get on that plane. I'm so excited to share this with my friends. And lastly, please don't forget about the business opportunity. Please, 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 please. Sweet baby Jesus, do not forget about the business opportunity, because what's real life is that everybody is focused on what? Everybody is focused on parties and the business and the points. And oh my gosh, I got to get in a bikini. But listen, $1,000 parties, that is an amazing deal. It is the best product that we have, is the business opportunity. I swear, I swear, I swear it. And yes, if you believe in all things holy, please be presenting. If you're a leader and your person is about to have $1,000 party and put it in a pretty little tracker, you better say, how many times does you present the business opportunity to your person? Because there is someone out there on this call that will host a party for them and that will ask them, and they will be teammates and rock stars. Okay. Lastly, if we launch Australia, book some parties. You know what I mean? Like, put that in your power hours. Say, I'm going to reach out to some people. That's okay if you want to lead. Sometimes it can be kind of icky if you're like, hey girl, you want to join my teams? Maybe you lead with a party. Like, hey, I want to get this product into this country. I see you work in a gym. Do you want to host a party for me online? We have 40 SKUs that are now available in the warehouse. I would love to set it up online. Even though we're in different time zones, your friends and family can shop whenever they wake up. Right? So, okay, any questions? I see some people that I know a lot of you. Oh, there's Tiffany, she back. Hey girl. Shelby, Missy, Alicia. I don't know. Do I know everybody else? I know Jody. Callista. Sometimes it's like your kid's name because they're on your Zoom. I guess everybody wants a strip, right? Everybody on this call will be on the beach.
Yes, for sure.
You can probably brush your teeth with water there.
Yeah, with like bottled water, right? So I wanted to mention too, so I kind of broke down. So this is like worst case scenario. Like if you are like myself and Erika, like we're probably not going to hit the next ranks in the next 3 months. I mean, probably not.
That's like icing on the cake for me.
Yeah. So like for me, for sure, there's no way in heck I'm hitting elite in like 3 months. No way in heck. So I have to go. No, it's not. Not in 3 months. Right. I have to go to just like parties and point parties. Okay. So this is like worst case scenario. Those of you that have never hit junior rep, senior rep, directors, even executive, if you've never hit those before, bank on making that part of your plan and part of your points. So for me, for those of us that can't, put a rank as part of our points,
it's like 17 points, right?
Well, worst case scenario is like I did 4 months. I'm counting December. Like I'm going to close some parties here in December, so if you divide, like 45 points where it gets you to the beach, divide that by 4, I think it's around 12 points a month, right? I mean, that's doable. I mean, that's like, my goal is to close as many $2,000 parties, as possible. So I'm going to help, like I've got one in my back office already that's around 2,000, like that's already going to be 7 points. Anytime in my VIP group, I'm just going to keep that party open until it hits 2,000 and then close it, hits 2,000 and then close it. I mean, it's going to be harder for us to have parties with like a friend and hit 2,000. I mean, it's doable, but like, I'm not banking on that. I'm making on like, my VIP links, keeping them open probably until like the end of March, right? And close out a $2,000 party. So yeah, worst case scenario, if you start in December, you just need 12 points. If you start in January, you need 15 points, which still is doable, but like, I like to get ahead of the game. I mean, they gave us 17 extra days to work with, so they're kind of like, I mean, that's a gift, start now, don't wait until January.
Those points in your back office, like the events that you already have open, like those are points no matter when you close them. Do you know what I mean? So
right? Like, yeah,
just, I'm going to keep that open until it's a $2,000 party.
Right. Yeah,
you know exactly. I'm not closing it.
No. So I'll probably just close like one party by the end of the month. That's 2,000. But then I'm just going to keep the other ones open until I hit 2,000. I don't know. Like it'll be it'll be interesting. But
Brittany and them probably got like 50 links at 2,000.
the other thing I want to mention too, I think Grace like also mentioned it, is that Katie and Monica are running an accountability group for those that want to hit like director, senior director, and those that want to, you know, hit the upper ranks as well. So I think, did they email that out, or are they emailing that out after the new year?
No, there's an application for it. I can send it to you.
Yeah, do that. And so, yeah, I mean, even if you're like a double XI exec, you can still be in it too. You know, like they're not turning one away, because Monica's going to run one and then Katie's going to run one. But I mean, whenever our team hit ranks, it was through these accountability groups, you know. So I would definitely encourage anyone and everyone to jump on there. Yeah, build confidence.
I definitely agree with that.
Anyone else want to say anything before we let Erika go?
Oh.
Anyone?
Everybody already have a plan? I feel like maybe that also could be, everybody has a plan, everybody's ready. Everybody's excited. I'm gonna start freaking embroidering beach towels or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I like that too. Write it down, like write your goal down and look at it every day, because we forget about it. Like if, you know, middle of February.
I also have some people who use their miles. So they're like, and you can only use the travel voucher for travel. So I have some people that are like, okay, well, this is what I'm going to do. I mean, you know, that's realistic for them. I guess that's what they want to do. So, like that's the boat I'm in. I just use my miles, but I guess if it's free, you can save your miles for something else.
Oh, one other point I want to make too, because I told Erika, like, let's focus on like sales and parties, because that's the game right now. Like as far as hitting this beach trip, it's based on yourself. It's not even recruiting, you guys. Like you don't need one recruit to go on this trip. Anyone on this call, anyone that's listening can earn this trip. And you've done it before. Every single one of you hit high numbers before. So their belief is there. You already have that part. But as far as hitting ranks too, like get a buddy on your team, like in your downline, and be like, let's go on this trip together. That's how you're going to hit ranks, because the two of you together be building this volume. You know, like if you've got a buddy on your team and you haven't hit junior rep, you guys are doing this together. You're going to hit junior rep. You're going to definitely hit senior rep, you know? So do it with someone on your team, because the funnest thing is not going on these trips yourself, but bringing your teammate with you, because then they get to see the vision as well.
I was going to say something really quick here. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
So I can, you know, look at the call here on quite a few people as the parties thing. We always talk about how parties are your lifeline, and it's so true. Like have the parties and offer the rep opportunity in those, because look at how many of you guys had a party with me and then joined me. Like I have a lot of confidence in that, as if I'm having somebody have a party with me and it's successful and we're having fun with it and everything. I mean, that's how you're going to build your team. That's how you're going to rank advance. So I love this promo. I think it's awesome that they're doing this. I love it that it's this promo, not a rank advancement promo, because this is just really how you build your business with it, is having those parties and really communicating throughout the party with your hostesses, making it fun, having fun, you know, having the energy and excitement with it. So I'm just super excited about it. So book those parties, have a plan like these guys were saying here, and just like today even, I've just been writing it out. I've had a couple say yes, so I've got a few lined up here for this next couple weeks here, and then just going back to old parties on all my old parties. Like I'm going back in the last like 6 months, and people that have like ordered in that didn't end up having a party with me, and double checking with them. Again, because maybe it wasn't a time for them 6 months ago, but maybe it is now, and letting them know like that you can be straightforward with them too, letting them know that, you know, there's this awesome promo, you know, and just let them know, like, I'm really excited about it. Would you love to have a party with me? Like I'll make it so much fun. Just if you're having fun and you're telling them how much fun you're going to have by helping them host it too, that's gonna be awesome. So I use a lot of voice clips and share my excitement in that too. So yeah.
It takes a lot of pressure off of like getting people to join your team, maybe in authentic ways, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like that pressure of like people coming and going, it really puts some genuine stuff behind it. I think someone said, I would love to rank, oh, Tiffany, I would love to rank and build a team. And this is the perfect way because it lets people join for 150 off or free. So the focus switch is really great. So I'm going to do a lot of the 9 o'clock calls. So if you guys have opportunities, jump on those. It's a great chance to, you know, like stay connected. If you want a fancy tracker, just message me and I can send you it. Just make a copy first. Or if you need some help, Sherry or Keela, with numbers and year over year, if you've been in the business for a year, sometimes for my team, I don't know about Sherry, first quarter was freaking amazing. So I'm hoping that's the case this year because my fourth quarter was pretty much the same. All right.
Well, thank you so much. We appreciate you so much, Erika. We love you. We adore you. Welcome. You can sit with us.
This is my crew. Well, guess what? I'm sitting with y'all whether you want to or not. So bye.
Thank you for being on.
All right. Love you guys.
Bye.
You awesome.
Bye-bye.